Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the pre-market live stream. So thank you guys all once again for tuning in. It is much appreciated. First things first, in order to figure out what's going to happen today, you must like the video before we start. No, just kidding. But please do share the video, like it if you would like to. It does help YouTube and the algorithm, and you guys know how all the thumbs up things work in this world or day and age. So with that being said, gold is flying, silver's picking up, the market's dropping, the dollar's down a little bit from yesterday, not too much. We got a lot of earnings reports today. Not your big name companies. Well, some are big, but they're not your massive big brand names that you would typically recognize for most, but we do got some good plays coming in, okay? So let's take a look. So here's gold this morning. Gold gap from about 139 up to a high of 141. That's a really big move in general for the price of gold. So here's the 4-hour chart, and if you guys remember from a couple days ago, the chart looked like this. There was none of these couple days up. It was just this big candle, and I was saying that this is extremely bullish. That's an extremely bullish look, and I even bought more of this particular ETF in one of my retirement accounts. And I mentioned that the likelihood that this stops right now doesn't seem likely. This appearance, this solid bullish candle there, really to me it looks like we're starting a trending phase with gold. So consider picking some up, at whatever price you guys, would like. And that's the thing is I'm not great at jumping in on things that are trending. I've always been one for buying a low point when something gets sold off really hard, or really trying to be in something early because I'm just never a fan of trying to jump in on trend. But as many of you guys know, trade tensions have picked up. Trade tensions have picked up. The Fed has cut rates. The market's a little bit wobbly, and gold's been picking up. Now, a lot of people right now would say that, sure, the market's going down and it's just a short-term thing and it's going to bounce back, which normally it always does bounce back, and it very well could bounce back, right? But if you think about it too, all right, if you go back, this was in the month of May, right? If you go back and you look at the market, the overall market in the month of May, let's see, when was that? Like in the month of May, we were down a little bit, but even if you were to go towards, even July, and, you look at, beginning of August, the market was at all-time highs, okay? And you go back and you look at, well, let's go back to gold. Right? You go back and look at gold through the month of July and the beginning of August and through June. And, when the market was at all-time highs, gold was still picking up. So the market wasn't even going down, when gold was picking up. They were both going up at the same time. So that tells you that even though our market was pressing in the upwards direction, people were still buying into gold because you can clearly see there's anticipation of downward moves in the market, and these are buyers coming into precious metals anticipating, what's to come, which they believe is down. So that in itself should be somewhat of a reassurance signal for those of you that are long gold or long precious metals or have been holding, and might be a warning sign to those that are really, consistently on the track. The market's going to continue to press higher, and then we're not going to have a negative or recession or a bearish move or market crash or whatever you want to, refer to it as. Right? So that's an interesting thing to see when the markets are moving good and gold's moving pretty well too. Okay. So just wanted to touch on gold briefly. Didn't want to become some doom and gloom, buy gold for the rest of your life kind of guy. Silver we'll touch on real fast. As I mentioned the day before, this bounce back on silver after this pullback was really bullish, and didn't be surprised to see silver break out. Now silver's up even more. So again, we're seeing really bullish moves here in silver and in gold. And if we'll just take a peek at the 20-year chart here real quick with silver. I just messed that up again. There we go, to month. Right, so if you just look at silver too, you can, it doesn't, you can clearly see silver is at a low price. And I started buying silver myself back here. Or was it here? I bought it a couple times. Let's see. Maybe it wasn't in this. There was some buying. I think I traded it in this account. Yeah, so I traded it once in my individual account, but I own it in another. So this here is when I started buying silver in my retirement account and in this account. So you'll see that I did a thing here with 4,200 shares at 1436. I sold 400 shares at 1448, sold 3,000 shares at 1467, sold my last 500 shares there at 15. But in my retirement account, I held from that position to where we are now, anticipating more of a long-term play on it. So my eyes have been there for a while, right? It's not like I'm just now trying to jump on this train, claim fame. No, I've been focusing attention there for over a year now. Yeah, a little bit over a year in terms of buying. Actually, probably 2 years now if you consider my retirement accounts. But so my attention has been there, and I have been notating these things and talking about them for quite some time. Anyways, so let's jump into it. So now we can take a look at the market today. Something I want to notate to you guys. Does anybody notice anything here? Does anybody notice anything? That's a very vague, broad question. Well, let's take a look. There is a really plain, obvious bearish divergence on our market, pressing up while momentum is pressing down. So we do have a bearish divergence there. Secondly, look what happened the last time we had a bearish divergence. Price action down, move back up. So from here to here and from here to there. So yeah, probably expecting a move lower in the market myself. Since the beginning of 2017, this wild drop in the market, at that point, I became a bear on the market. I wasn't bearish the market until 2017, where we had that big drop. That's when I became bearish on the market. So I've been consistently bearish the market for, let's call it a year and a half, more like almost 2 years now, right? So I've been more of a bearish side sentiment person for the last 2 years. Dan, at the current moment in time, there's nothing regarding swing trading inside our course. It is something that I've been really itching to get done. And I've said it for a long time, but I haven't gotten to it. But it is something that I want to put in there. I just haven't really found the time to sit down and put the energy forth to really revamp the course and redo the course. But that is something that we will be doing, is reformatting our course from day trading and even swing trading. And then probably adding in additional content like things like gold, long-term investing. So as of right now, it's pretty much just an all-in-one day trading course that goes through like intraday setups and reversals and some scanners. We talk about Fibonacci. We do touch on gold and silver and a lot of different things in the course, but I definitely feel at this time it needs to be restructured and kind of reorganized, especially as I've grown as an investor and trader. Some things do change along the way that you'd like to implement, so we do need to make some changes with that being said. All right, where do you think we're going with silver? So yeah, if we want to play the whole guessing game here, let's see. Hold on one second. We got a lot of comments here. I want to try and answer some questions, and I'll continue forward. Okay, so give me a sec. TLT flying. I'm curious here. I don't actually play JNUG. Not that like I don't. I really hardly pay attention to it throughout the day. I'm so concerned with stocks that are moving that I've been comfortable with trading that I don't really pay attention to JNUG. But it honestly is something that you should, because it's a 3 times leverage ETF, gold ETF. So whenever gold moves really good, then JNUG is going to move good. So if you're into trading, right? So if you want to, so that's a good. I'm glad you asked that, because if you want to be trading, right? So when it comes to gold and the silvers, I've been talking about investing, and I'm not really been talking about trading. And part of the reason is because if you look at the 2 main tickers I talk about, which is SLV and GLD, it's not like they're the best day trading ETF. They're just not. They don't move big value. You can make money on them, sure, but it's not the type of price movement that a trader's really interested in and looking for on a day-to-day basis. But if you're wanting to get involved trading wise on the gold, of course you could look at things like futures, and there's many things you could do, and there's different stocks in that realm. But JNUG, it's a great let me rephrase that. Actually, to shorten this up, pretty much any 3 times leverage ETF is what you should be. It was actually like made for traders. 3 times and 2 times leverage ETFs were actually not entirely designed just for traders, but they actually are very good ETFs for traders, not so much investors, because of the characteristics which make them up, which is the 3 times leverage, right? So like, again, you want to trade gold. Gold only moves $1 on the day. JNUG's going to move $3 on the day. So there's more opportunity and range within some of these 3 times leverage ETFs, as why it's more appealing for someone whose mind is set on trading. Yep. Yeah, I need to get caught up on a lot of the news. There's so much jumping around right now. It's hard to keep up. Good morning, guys. Yeah, it did work. It did work very well, Jack. Absolutely. Honestly, this is the way I look at it. When it comes to silver, all right, so this is back in 2008, right? You see silver here up at 48, from 8 to 48. So if you look and you just look at the timestamps, really the bull run of silver started right at arguably the bottom of the economic crisis in 08. And as you can see, it went from 8 all the way to 48. Now, who's to say that's going to happen again? That would be a really crazy move, but it can. So I would say if we have anything similar to 08, then we can expect similar outcomes in both gold and silver. So I would say that I'm comfortable seeing silver all the way up to, like, I think there's a gap fill at 25 or something, but I would say silver at least up towards 25. And then if we really went through really, really bad times, you'd see silver maybe up towards, you'd see silver maybe up towards 48. All right, so let's move into some. We'll move into the stock. So I'll make this quick here. So there's quite a few earnings reports, and the stocks they're trading relatively well, decently well here. So you have SEDG, which is 63, up to 79 here today. So that's a big move. Whenever you get big moves like this, the stocks can create good range on the day. Many of you guys know this already. So this is definitely something I would keep an eye on today, just on a side watch. It's not the stock with the most volume, but again, you could keep an eye on it. This might be out of some people's price range, and I understand. But again, this is it's not trading the most volume, but it could definitely have a decent day. Something you'll come to find is with most of these earnings reports, you're going to open them up, and a lot of times they're going to, not this one particular, but a lot of times you'll find that the earnings gap or the earnings move will push itself right into a resistance or right into a support, and that's really the main thing you have to watch for, because a lot of times it'll try and press up and above a resistance or below a support, and then it gets held up there and either drops or squeezes. So again, don't be fooled by the big move that it makes up or down and think that it has to continue in that direction. So SEDG is one of them. Weight Watchers is probably going to be the main watch for me. It's starting to roll over pre-market. If you look at, if you just look at the daily chart, or maybe the 4-hour chart's better. If you look at the 4-hour chart here, you're going to see that it kind of double tops all the way up at 27. right? You can see it double tops here, or well, it's starting a double top. A lot of times stocks won't break above their previous kind of high move when it's super super obvious, right? You can see this big push up, big move down, big move up. Usually doesn't break first attempt and it's going to pull back. So if you have the ability to, I'd probably watch Weight Watchers a day, short bias, okay? Yeah, so I mean, every once in a while, I mean, if I feel like it, I'll do a daily recap. Sometimes I will. Recently, I haven't personally, and it's just a personal thing. Working on YouTube consistently, making 2 videos every single day. It's a lot of work, to be completely honest, and it's not something that I even have to do. You get criticized all the time, and it's just honestly, it's not even worth hearing half the people's remarks and comments these days. People are so negative that I just stick to myself. I come on, do what needs to be done, and then I pretty much scat, you know. So that's really what it comes down to. What's your take on shorting BYND meat? Yeah, you can. BYND will most likely decrease in value, but just because it's going down doesn't mean it's just going to crash and be a super easy short. So, I think that BYND will act similar to TLRY, which basically after its first initial big drop down, right? You're gonna get. It had its big drop, so I feel like BYND's already gone through majority of its big move down. Now you're going to see something kind of like this, where it kind of grinds up, grinds down, grinds up, grinds down. So I don't think that you're going to make a ton of money by playing it short. Right now, it doesn't have shares to short, I think, unless that changed. No, there's still no shares to short, so I still think it's going to be going down, but soon enough it's going to slow, and you're not going to be able to make as much money as quickly if you're trying to do shorter time frame plays. No, I don't trade Forex, so I wouldn't trade the euro. So yeah, BYND can really it can obviously still move down. So we went over SEDG, we went over Weight Watchers. GH is Guardian Health. You can take a peek at this one. This one, what did it go to? Did it go to 106 or is it over a 52-week high? I will find out. Yeah, I don't know if Guardian Health's over the 52-week high here. Let's see. I can't remember. Yeah, just barely. So Guardian Health just barely broke out of the 52-week high. So in a situation like this, a play you could watch for is you can see it's already kind of pulling back pre-market. A lot of people would probably watch to see if it pulls back and actually holds the previous 52-week high level. If it does, then it kind of tells you that some traders and investors are respecting the move over the 52-week high, in which there might be a nice little support hold here where you could buy like a bounce. But again, if you look at the stock going from 90 to 114, that's a $24 move. There's money to be made on the stock. This is generally going to be something with a little bit wider of a spread. Right now the spread is from 108.90 to 109.50, so you're already at about a 50 to arguably 60-cent spread. Sometimes not the easiest to trade. So to be completely honest, Chris, I am not caught up on bonds right now. It's something that I gotta take a peek at. Yeah, I honestly don't know enough, so I can't touch there. But from my understanding, it appears, I would assume, based on what's happening, I would assume that short-term bonds are going up and long-term bonds might be decreased. Some long-term bonds might be decreasing in value, but I would assume that short-term bonds and yields are probably going up because people are scared of negative times, so they would try and bank on a short-term downfall situation. But yeah, I'd have to take a bigger look. Yeah, that's what I figured. 10-year probably. Yeah, 10 years going down. Short terms are probably going up. But yeah, so with Roku for earnings, just to touch on that, honestly, I think Roku is going to be going down for earnings. it was something that I was considering swinging with smaller share size, but yeah, I would say Roku down for earnings. I just nothing more than just a good feeling. So we will talk about the SPY here. I didn't touch too much on this, and we'll make this pretty quick so you guys can all get back to doing whatever it is that you guys are doing this morning. So, my outlook, what we were talking about in our private group this morning was to watch and see if the market, you can already see we're kind of bouncing a little bit here. The market's going to try and hold yesterday's dip level, which could very well happen, but it's probably going to try and hold this dip level. If that fails, then the SPY really can have more of more of a free fall, because this is kind of shot up, right? So it could have more of a free falling day if it goes below that 284 level. I wouldn't be putting more money into positions right now, considering the market's pretty bearish, right? You'd want to make sure the market fully bottoms out and is ready to bounce. But I will say this, that I mean, when a stock decreases in value like this, a lot of times it will have a pretty decent bounce. 26 here on AMD is a really good support level, and it hasn't really touched there. So I wouldn't be surprised to see the market move lower, AMD move lower. I think it'd be best just to hold off adding some there. ENPH, that was one from a couple days back, maybe last week, that had earnings kind of bouncing really good. Honestly, ENPH is probably something to keep on watch long term. Okay, a chart doesn't go like this. Oops, excuse me. Charts don't move like this unless it's probably a good stock, right? It went from, again, it went from $3 all the way to 20. There's a reason for that. Well, Dan, scalp trading basically happens intraday. So whenever any stocks, Facebook, Apple, Nvidia, Google, Amazon, can scalp all of those, really. Scalping is just when you find good price movement intraday where something's going to bounce or something's going to fall short for maybe 10 to 30, 40 cents, really. Actually, really, it's more like 10 cents, but, anything over 10, get into 20, 30, 40 cents. It's more of a momentum trade, but yeah. Anything you want. I mean, you could look at Facebook and Amazon and Apple and AMD if you're really into scalping. All right, guys, so with that being said, it's about 8:57. I'm going to rock and roll here. I'm going to shut down here on the stream. Again, really appreciate you guys tuning in. And if you guys could, please do give a thumbs up on the video before you head out the door. It really does help. I know it seems kind of odd, but just clicking the thumbs up, it really talks to the YouTube algorithm and it helps these videos reach wider audiences and newer people. And that's really YouTube's way of saying, okay, this guy does do a good job on his videos, because those thumbs up are what tell the YouTube algorithm, hey, this is actually pretty good stuff. So if you guys will, do appreciate it, and everybody take care. Have a great day. Stay green in the market. There's no need to be rushing it today. Always be patient. Wait for the right setups. And then I'll see you guys all tomorrow morning for another video. Everybody take care. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.